I'm getting old. No, I can't keep saying that. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. But I hope Keir the traitor Starmer isn't. He is going to hopefully feel a lot of pressure from not only the British people, but the American people as well. Because Keir the traitor Starmer has said it will not choose, he will not choose the US over the EU. Bearing in mind that the unelected bureaucrats, or maybe I was right first time, in Brussels and what have you, have been stabbing us in the back for fucking years. If I recall correctly, we ended up paying £55 million gross a day for the privilege of unlimited immigration, of no positive benefits whatsoever, of being tied to European Court of Human Rights, which has done more harm for this country than good, and has basically stopped us from being able to deport foreign criminals. But Keir the traitor Starmer would rather side with the EU than side with the most powerful man in the world right now, that is Donald Trump. It blows my bloody mind. I think anybody with even a singular brain cell would be able to tell you, free of charge, although I might charge you 20 quid for the next time. Anyway, they would be able to tell you free of charge that your best interests would lie more with the American people and Donald Trump than it would be to an anti-democratic European Union that wants one army, one anthem. Or have I got that wrong? Am I all of a stroke number one? All of a sudden, am I going to see the European Union actually put individual countries first? Yeah, and then I woke up after a nice 8-hour nap. But I digress. The point is, Keir the traitor Starmer is selling us downriver to people who want to destroy us, by people who want to see us take in as many illegal immigrants from their third world shitholes as possible. Now, I admit, not every one of them has come over with malicious intentions. I accept there are people who have come over, and Paul Thorpe even had one on. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. But I do recall, actually, there was one man from Pakistan who was a Muslim who actually wants to be a part of our society, who actually wants to be a part of our great nation. And for that, I have nothing but respect for him. Because, believe it or not, whether you're hearing the propaganda mouthpiece blabbing in your ear every 5 fucking seconds, believe it or not, we're not unreasonable people. We're not sitting here saying, all foreigners, they can fuck off back to where they came from. No, we're not saying that. We're saying we want people in this country who are actually going to pay in taxes, contribute to our society, respect our beliefs, and respect our laws. What we don't want is a lot of these economic migrants and these jihadists and Islamist scumbags who are coming in, as said, from their third world shitholes to turn our country into a third world shithole. Something that Keir the traitor Starmer knows all too well, to the point where he's fast-tracking it. He would rather put Islamist scumbags who want to kill us all into fancy hotels, give them a mobile phone, give them benefits, all at the taxpayer's behest, and potentially weapons as well, though that bit is speculation. Because that's the thing, unlike the mainstream media, who will tell everything and then propose it to you like it's gospel, I know when to say, yep, that's fact, or that's speculation. Because I am not stupid. unlike the lamestream media. But what is Keir the traitor Starmer focusing on? He's focusing on funding war. He is focusing with Joe the old biddy Biden on World War III in Ukraine and Russia. But perhaps what's even more chilling about Joe biddy Biden is he actually gave his son a presidential pardon. Bear this in mind, because he then goes on later down the line on Twitter to say no one's above the law, which he himself got community noted. That's right. The former president of tomfuckery in America got community noted to showcase that he and him and Hunter Biden believe they are above the law, when this treacherous little fucker is giving his own son a stroke number 2, a presidential pardon. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. And the reason Joe biddy Biden decided to put action against Russia is simple. As I said before, this is all being done before Trump is getting into the Oval Office, so he can basically start World War III, which in my humble opinion is completely and utterly abhorrent. Why has Keir the traitor Starmer not come out and condemned Joe Biden for this? Why is Keir the traitor Starmer being a complete sectarianist bastard who is focusing more on the feelings of Islam, which is an intolerant Danegeld that basically wants to destroy any of the non-believers and conquer all of the regions and countries surrounding them? Why is it he wants to prioritise them and prioritise joining the European Union over the most powerful man in the world, who has been our ally for such a long damn time? It really does beg the question, doesn't it, folks? How on earth is Keir the traitor Starmer still in power when he is stabbing all of us in the back like this? How is he in power when he has been completely making Britain look like a laughingstock to the rest of the world? And as much as I'd love to say that Keir the traitor Starmer has resigned, unfortunately it's not the case. Which brings me to my next point before I go any further on this shit. And that is the rise of right-wing AI channels. Something that Xpaz49 has covered a little bit. And I only found out this morning because British Stand is actually a name of one of these AI channels. But there's also a human version of British Stand. So basically these AI channels are even going as far as to impersonate other people in order to put out basically content that educates you on nothing, teaches you nothing, wastes your time, but as soon as you clicked on it, bam, they've got your view. That's all they want. They are basically content farmers. They are assholes who essentially want to take the views from people for doing no evidence, no research, and sometimes putting out blatant lies, including, I think there was even a video that came out where Keir the traitor Starmer came out and said he was homosexual. Yeah, I wonder how that would work out with the Islamists. Something tells me there would be a few plans to grab the man off the streets and then give him a free first-class ticket off the top of a building. And let me be clear, this is not something I advocate for. This isn't even me suggesting it. This is me saying what Islam loves to do with anybody convicted of homosexuality. Anybody caught in intimate relationships with another dude, they can expect to either be stoned to death or thrown off a building. Islam's own teachings, by the way. This isn't something that I believe in. I'm thoroughly against it. But Islam has that in its scriptures. And a lot of these Mohammedans treat the Quran as gospel. On top of all this, obviously Keir the traitor Starmer hasn't resigned yet because he's still going on with all of his bullshit. But this is unfortunately what these AI media channels will do. These AI right-wing channels that have been growing more prevalently since the human version of British Stand. Unfortunately, these fuckers are going to keep coming out of the woodwork. The only thing we can do is report the channels, because they are not their own content. They are not able, or they have no right to impersonate other channels if they've got the same name as certain human channels. And basically, they serve nothing but to steal views and potentially steal subscribers as well. The AI content creations, disgusting places, and frankly, as said, we should do all we can to get rid of these fucking things, because the bottom line is they're just there to farm your views, a bit like farming like animals from Tommy Robinson's manifesto book. Now, back on point. The mere idea that Keir the traitor Starmer can put the EU, the unelected bureaucrats, before Donald Trump, or even more to the point, his own people, really does showcase what a WEF shill he really is. His allegiance isn't to the British people, it's to Islam, it is to BlackRock, it is to the WEF, it is to people who want the 1% to continue controlling the world and want the 4% to stop the 5% from waking up the 90%. That's what it boils down to. Keir the traitor Starmer has been doing everything he can to rejoin us to the European Union. He has given control of our army to the European Union. He was talking about deals about taking in more immigration with the EU. And he was a pro-Ramona as far as Brexit is concerned. But that is something, of course, the mainstream media don't want to tell you. But he would rather join us back up to a backstabbing cult of bureaucrats than actually do the right and honourable thing. No, we're not in the House of Commons. Anyway, he would rather do that than do the right and honourable thing, which is to put his own people first. And I can tell you right now, he is on borrowed time. He might last to the end of the year, but there's no way he's lasting 5 years. He'll be lucky if he lasts 5 months, let alone 5 fucking years. A man who cares more for taking political prisoners than the children who died in Southport. Than another child, speaking of which, who ended up getting stabbed in, I believe the town was Wexford in Ireland. Ironically, this was a Middle Eastern girl who got stabbed trying to protect her mother by not a white person, not even a black person, but another Middle Eastern man. And I will be linking the website that has reported this in the description below, because it is not a mainstream media outlet. It is actually an entirely different website, who clearly have more balls, whether up here or down there, or in my case both, to be able to put out the region that this man, this maggot, has come from. This man who wants to go and kill an 8-year-old child and leave the parents with non-life-threatening injuries. And remember, the vast majority of the Middle Eastern countries are, well, you have 3 guesses. Islamic, that's right. That's the thing. The media and Keir the traitor Starmer, you remember the references I've been making as far as the elephant is concerned when I've been reading the manifesto book? They would rather you focus on the ears of the elephant rather than feel the rest of the elephant that they don't want you to see. For example, the legs, or sorry, feel, like the legs, the tail, the body. They want to distract you from the fascist state. They want to misdirect you whilst they continue to commit atrocities in front of our very eyes. And I ask Keir the traitor Starmer, will he spare a moment for that 8-year-old girl who died trying to protect her mother? I suspect I already know the fucking answer, but I really do want to be optimistic on this one. And yes, as I said, Middle Eastern girl, not a white girl, not a black girl. I am not a racist. I want that girl to have tribute paid to her. Not in the form of money, but with flowers, wreaths, moments of silence, whatever. And I hope the Irish people of Wexford, I hope they can recover from this. And my heart goes out to the family who have undoubtedly been through hell on that night. But stroke number 3. I suspect Keir the traitor Starmer won't even spare a moment for that girl. I suspect he will continue on with his life like nothing's ever happened. Like Sadiq, totally not a terrorist Khan, would say, terrorism is part and parcel of living in a big city. Because that's how much of an insensitive little cunt he is. I hope the Irish government will take a moment, if they haven't already, to say something about what happened to that girl in Wexford. I hope that they will actually appreciate that this Middle Eastern girl who protected her mother ended up giving her life when it should really be the other way round, although the right answer is nobody should have fucking died, other than maybe the perpetrator himself. But it's sad, because usually, there is a saying that still holds up, usually the sons bury their fathers. But in this case, it is going to be the mother who has to bury her daughter. And that mere thought alone is so harrowing, and it makes me sick to think about it, let alone say it. The religion of peace, we keep getting told, from these Islamic Mohammedan scumbags, who clearly are more interested in subjugation and domination rather than integration and assimilation. What will it take for Keir the traitor Starmer to actually grow a conscience and actually resign before he does more damage to this country? What will it take? Because other than that, I don't see how this is going to end peacefully, quite frankly. I reckon in the next 2 or 3 months, if Keir the traitor Starmer doesn't resign, the British people are going to make that decision for him. And it won't be pretty. And as I've said before, and I will keep saying without fail, I do not advocate for, condone, or want a violent revolution. But the cold, bitter truth is, the British people are going to soon realise that this man is so much of a danger. To quote Mace Windu from Star Wars Episode 3, he's too dangerous to be left alive. They will decide they've had enough of this traitorous bastard, and they're going to want his head on the end of their pitchforks, quite frankly. As much as I loathe Keir the traitor Starmer, I don't want it for Keir the traitor Starmer. Personally, I want this to end peacefully. But the man is literally making that more and more impossible with each passing day. The man is making it so people are starting to realise that asking for a peaceful resolution is the definition of insanity. You repeat and repeat and repeat, hoping to get the same fucking result. Maybe I'm indulging in a little bit of insanity, to play devil's advocate to what I'm saying. But here's the thing. I'm not saying what I'm saying out of malicious intent towards Keir the traitor Starmer. I am saying it because I want this to not escalate to violent revolution. What will he do if it does escalate to that? Call in the army? He's going to have more of the army against him than he is for him. Especially when you consider how much he is stabbing the Americans in the back. How he tried to give away the Chiago Islands to the Argentinians. Basically make the Falklands War soldiers' sacrifices be for nothing. How he is continually screwing over the pensioners, taking away their winter fuel payments. How he is taking political prisoners. He would rather jail people for exercising their right to protest rather than jail the nonces and the murderers and the rapists and all that shit who should be jailed, or better still, deported. Yet he can't be bothered to take us out of the ECHR, and he can't be bothered to deal with the real criminals. He would rather have the police focus on Twitter and YouTube and sentencing people to jail for despicable crimes such as showcasing the aftermath of protests, exercising their right to free speech, which is protected under Article 10 of the Human Rights Act. He would rather blame the Tories and the far right for all of the problems he is creating. He has mastered the legendary art of projection that a lot of the left-wing NPCs are schooled in on a daily basis. But Keir the traitor Starmer, you can't run away from responsibility forever. Think of yourself on a bungee rope tied to your ankles. You can run as far as you like, but the further you run, the tighter that rope's going to get. And when you reach your limit, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get snapped back just like that, and you're going to fucking feel it. The more you pull, the harder your fall is going to be. And we will be there laughing at you. We will be there laughing at your fall, not helping you, because of the way you have screwed over your own people. If you were on fire, Keir the traitor Starmer, I don't think the vast majority of people would even piss on you to put you out. I think a lot of them would want to toast a marshmallow over you. I know I would, because I just do not have any respect for you. I cannot respect a man who prioritizes destroying the very nation he is supposed to protect. I cannot respect someone who would rather kill the elderly than make sure that criminals are put in jail or foreign criminals are deported. That is the way I look at it. I have principles. I am not going to sit here and respect a man who is more interested in appeasing a death cult, who is more interested in being a sectarianist bastard, who is more interested in being a traitor than actually be a saviour of his own people. Because that's the thing, Keir the traitor Starmer. I give you a lot of shit. And I should really check my toilet for some more of it. Anyway, I give you a lot of shit. Here's the thing though. You could turn this around. I genuinely mean that. You could genuinely turn this around and actually deport foreign criminals, illegal immigrants, and foreign invaders that want to do us harm. You could reverse your decision to screw the elderly, to take patriotic prisoners and political prisoners. You could make the decision to take us out of the ECHR. Of course, this is more likely off in the distance in the land of fairy tales, but the truth is, you could do that, Keir the traitor Starmer, and you could become a hero. But the truth is, you'll never do that, because you are too far in too far in it with your WEF shillmasters. You would rather appease elitist, rich bastards than actually do your civic duty to the British people. I know my own people say, be careful with what you say. We don't want to see you arrested. But the thing is, as I've said before, and I will say it here again, we need to stop being afraid. Because the only way we're going to achieve change, much like Tommy Robinson said when he first formed the EDL, we have to be prepared to either get killed or go to jail. That's the cold, bitter truth. If we're not willing to do that, then we're not really going to make a change. And I will continue saying it like this, and you can say it with me, because I'm not going to sugarcoat a motherfucking thing. I am not going to mince my words. I am going to say it exactly how it is, and I will do my best not to bullshit you. I am not afraid to put Keir the traitor Starmer on the spot. I am not afraid to hold all of his cronies to account and call them out for their treachery, dishonesty, and illegalities. Do you think Keir the traitor Starmer's got the balls to do that? Of course he fucking doesn't. Because he is complicit in all of it. He already gave one of the MPs who either committed assault or called for the throats of the supposed far right to be cut, he already gave him a promotion. Why is that? Please tell me. Why would Keir the traitor Starmer give one of his own MPs a promotion for committing crime, while at the same time persecuting people for their views? I really do feel for the poor sods who have to grow up from their kid years to their teenage years to adult life, and they're living in this day and age where we have traitors running around in sheep's clothing, basically wanting to shaft us left, right, and centre, basically wanting to off our elderly, wanting to off our children effectively for his lack of action against the Islamic community, or sorry, the Mohammedans. The bottom line is Keir the traitor Starmer's priorities are clearly in the wrong damn place. And some people need to start realizing we need to, metaphorically speaking of course, take out the trash. We need to remove Keir the traitor Starmer and the Labour Party, make sure they can never get into power again. Never allow them to do the damage what Keir the traitor Starmer and Tony the war criminal Blair have done to this country. And of course Gordon the bullion blundering Brown, the one who sold all our gold at a fraction of the market price. We've given the traitor Labour Party, or again, maybe I was right first time, we have given the traitor party more than enough chances. And every single time we have put them in power, they've pissed our money up the wall, pissed off the British people, and screwed over Britain. I say enough is enough, and I think it's time that Keir the traitor Starmer was finally shown the door out of 10 Downing Street. Because that man is not fit for purpose. He is about as pleasurable as a fart in a car. He is about as liked in this country as a nonce in a nursery. It's time he went. And we, the British people, will make sure he gets held to account for his actions, put in front of a judge, and hopefully sent to prison for his crimes against humanity, funding wars, electoral fraud for filling out a form wrong, claiming that Lord Ali's mansion was his address when it really isn't, and other such crimes that I will not mention. That was just a few of them. But we will make sure he's hauled in front of a judge and he's held to account. And then when the next Prime Minister gets in power, whether it be a he or she, maybe then they'll be reminded of what happens when you backstab the people of Britain.